Major funding for the PBS NewsHour has been provided by
Cunard is a proud supporter of public television. On a voyage with Cunard, the world awaits. A world of flavor, diverse destinations, and immersive experiences. A world of leisure and British style. All with Cunard's White Star service.
Moving our economy for 160 years. BNSF, the engine that connects us.
Friends of the NewsHour, Robert Kaplan and Wendy J. Selden through the Raymond James Charitable Endowment Fund. And with the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to the NewsHour. A new pope has been elected, and in a major surprise, an American has been chosen for the first time.
Robert Francis Prevost will now be known as Pope Leo XIV. In his first remarks as the leader of more than 1 billion Roman Catholics around the world, the Pope spoke of peace and building bridges to a crowd in St. Peter's Square. In Rome, a wave of emotion as the newly elected Pope emerged from the balcony of the Vatican.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
The new Pope's first words, "Peace be with all of you." After 2 days of voting, white smoke poured from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, and the bells of St. Peter's Basilica rang out, announcing the election of Cardinal Robert Prevost as the 267th leader of the Roman Catholic Church, choosing to take the name Pope Leo XIV.
Dear brothers and sisters, this is the first greeting of the risen Christ, the Good Shepherd who gave his life for the flock of God. I too would like this greeting of peace to enter your hearts, to reach your families, to all people everywhere, to all the earth. Peace be with you.
The 69-year-old is the first American-born pope. Born in Chicago, he graduated from Villanova University and would go on to live in Peru, where he became a bishop and, in 2015, a naturalized citizen. Pope Leo, who speaks multiple languages, was considered a close confidant of Pope Francis.
This is the peace of the risen Christ, a disarmed peace and a disarming peace. Humble and persevering, it comes from God, God who loves us all unconditionally. We will keep in our ears that weak but always courageous voice of Pope Francis.
Before being named Pope today, he held one of the most influential Vatican posts, running the office that selects and manages bishops globally.
It is an exciting moment. I did not expect it. And on this sunny day, I feel a great energy in this square. I hope he will be the great successor of Pope Francis.
The election of the new pope comes at a delicate time for the Catholic Church, as it navigates lingering sex abuse scandals, internal divisions over LGBTQ inclusivity, and financial difficulties. But today, Rome and the world celebrates Pope Leo XIV and the historic nature of the moment. For more on Pope Leo XIV and what he means for both the Church and for the world's 1.4 billion Catholics, we turn now to two guests, both in Rome. Kim Daniels is the director of the Initiative on Catholic Social Thought and Public Life at Georgetown University. She's also a
Might not one of the bandits in Vernworth's jail know of the methods employed by thieves and their ilk? Pray, allow me to show you the way. True enough.
A fine place to harvest some ingredients.
Shall we see if there's aught to be found while we're here? It seems we must part ways for the time being.
When does my watch end?
I am pleased to find you in good health.
Return to your post. Report to me at once if you notice aught untoward.
What I wouldn't give for a mug of ale.
Can't expect to fare so well every day.
We're not allowed to talk during missions, sir.
Places such as this depend upon my vigilance.
You. I wonder how you must feel, having locked me away in this dismal place. Do you think yourself just? If so, you are sorely mistaken. There are many in this world who require salvation. I merely borrowed the aid of those who could offer it. Just as there are theories that may only be tested on living flesh, so are mortal bodies the sole source of certain materials. And, whatever you may think, all lives are not made equal. 'Tis the truth, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not. The sickly folk of the slums are fated to die, to waste away till death grants them its mercy. I merely gave their deaths a greater purpose. If anything, I deserve your praise, not this awful cell.
Good to see people in such high spirits.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm cut out for this work.
Would that I ne'er had cause to draw steel.
I'd swear I've not blinked once in the last hour.
Oh, looking for the Jadeite orb, are you? Can't say I've seen it, or heard of it for that matter. Mind refreshing my memory? It's all coming back to me now, which is to say, I've not a clue. But I can tell you what I'd do if I nicked a treasure like that. My first stop would be Ibrahim's scrap store. Got to be sure my prize is the genuine article, eh? The scrap stores are in the checkpoint rest town. Might be worth a look, see?
So this is where you were, Master. I searched high and low for you. You take care not to stray so far next time.
What a racket!
Very well. I shall go on ahead.
Can't help but talk in a whisper when I'm here.
This might be worth a read.
Shall we take a closer look?
Over here, if you please. This isn't the way to our destination, but I presume you've a new one in mind. Lead on. The Arisen decides our path. We have but to follow.
I fear this trial is too much for one such as me. I fear this trial is too much for one such as me. I must confess, I'm rather lost.
We have found a material. I'm sure we'll find a purpose for it in due time.
I overheard some of the soldiers standing guard outside the palace, discussing a curious rumor.
Regarding the Queen Regent and an important personage, you mean?
Indeed. Some suppose there is more to her relationship with this Batali dignitary than is publicly known.
I fear this trial is too much for one such as me. I fear this trial is too much for one such as me.
Look at the crowd.
I'm aching for a fight. Wonder if anyone will notice if I stay here a bit.
Seeing the captain always makes me nervous.
If I could, I'd never leave. Might as well hang about. I'm in no rush.
Greetings. You seek guidance, do you not? You have lost sight of your path, but I can point the way. You need only make a worthy offering in exchange. I have seen your path. May these words guide you true. You've my gratitude. If the way forward is shrouded to you, I can offer guidance. 'Tis lovely to see you.
Let's take it easy today.
It's one of life's great
My
pleasures.
knees are acting up.
Racket.
I've trained for this. I like to spark up when people gather.
I can't wait to see what the day
Need
holds.
anything?
Welcome to Bjorn's Armory. You'll find only pieces of the finest quality line these shelves, and quality is what you need if you want to survive. So before you check the price, just remember, misers die early deaths. Many thanks. I appreciate the business.
Why is everyone always in such a
Look, as long as you please. Have you business with the guild, sir? I should be glad to assist you. Do come again. Have you business with the guild, sir? I should be glad to assist you. Always a pleasure. Welcome, and well met.
Sit quiet. The rules at your neck.
All this hustle and bustle, right in home.
Well met. You will soon forget the fatigue of a long journey when treated to the foremost hospitality in all Vernworth. Much obliged. No wisdom to offer. Well met. Boys, no good if you work yourself to death.
It's nice to see everyone out and about.
We seem to have arrived without issue, but are we safe here?
The owls seem to fly when I... Might I interest you in my humble wares? Tisn't easy travelling out in the world, all alone. Hope to see you again.
A short rest, then on.
Reckon I'd spend my life here if I could.
Well met, son. How might I be of service?
The owls seem to fly.
I'll collect that. You needn't trouble yourself.
Come on then!
At times, I find myself wondering why we must fight against our fellows. Indeed, you are correct. Success. Our foe hasn't even noticed what's been pilfered.
And I might have to make you live.
Ingenious. My own master must hear of this tactic.
It is not what I expected. Now, what might that be?
We ought to take a closer look.
I'd wager our merry band can handle whatever comes. No challenges beyond our combined might.
True enough.
Battle is best avoided here. Yes, Master.
A common reward. Frustratingly so.
We cannot expect gleaming treasures round every corner. One might confidently call that a resounding victory. Overconfidence is an enemy in and of itself. Let us instead strive to better ourselves with every battle.
You can count on me to fly to your aid in your hour of need, Master. Knowing when to use curatives is my speciality.
Well done, Master. Let me get that. Choppers, Master! Fire will prove effective against this foe.
And I shall strike them down.
A wise man.
We are to retreat, then?
I will protect you.
atop bridges are best avoided.
At least this bridge seems a sturdy one.
Ah, now I understand.
Our foe appears to have grown just as weary as we. We must not give them a chance to recover.
Strike fast and true, and our quarry shall fall.
High ground and fight for the English. Will make overpowering our foes all the same.
Allow me. This foe shall fall by my hand.
This heavy pack is slowing me down somewhat, but methinks I can manage for the time being. Here we go again. We must focus on finding victory, whatever our discomfort.
Understood.
Success. Our foe hasn't even noticed aught's been pilfered. And I'll strike them down. A wise one.
I learned of a campsite near here in my time beyond the rift. If you'd follow me, I'd gladly lead the way.
Allow me to lead the way.
I can take you to our destination by the optimum route. I'll collect that. You needn't trouble yourself.
Are you all right? Mayhap you'll think this a trifle, but... Curious thing. One of my former masters chose to hire only women. What? Each to their own.
You hold the enemy's focus, and I shall strike them down.
A wise step. Come on! Don't drag this! You!
I don't fancy my chances.
Ha! You've met your match!
Just yonder looks to be a good spot for harvesting ingredients.
No harm in picking a few. Tis a hobgoblin!
Fire is not its weakness, but its strength.
The enemy has called reinforcements. It seems they need to match our might through strength of... dare I say it? We trounced our foe well and true. Overconfidence is an enemy in and of itself. Let us instead strive to better ourselves with every battle. If our destination...
This ox cart's bound for the checkpoint rest town. I'll not take you anywhere till I've had my due.
Day? Can't wait for the new equipment to come in.
Wearing armor already.
Quickly, Arisen! You must regain your footing. Keep on, Arisen, and I'll strike them down. Wise.
Efficiency at its best.
Let us aim for greater precision with our next attempt. I should be glad to assist you, Arisen.
Is this some manner of trial?
What?
Suppose I ought to earn my...
He's well tired of being self-served.
Why not when you're
We'll pull through yet!
defend themselves when grappled like this. I've got to
Let me get that.
You hold the enemy's focus, and I shall strike them down.
A wise strategy.
I'm in no hurry to it.
I'll sleep like a log tonight.
Anyone gives me
I'm
trouble,
overdue
it's Steve.
Only fools and urchins boast of their
Suppose I can always run.
Need anything? When does my watch end? I believe I don't have enough to do.
Welcome, sir. Contrary to the name, this little shop of mine deals in naught but the finest treasures. If you think me a liar, then buy something and see the truth for yourself. Whate'er 'tis you need, I can get it done. Ah, I see you desire one of my masterpieces. Very well. Many thanks to you.
Fancy any for my wares?
How can I get more customers?
Would you be so kind as to seek out the Jadeite orb on my behalf? Larcenous deeds are the ken of bandits. Mayhap one of their ilk could point you.
I swear I've never slept better.
Might as well take a look while you're here, eh?
Well met, sir.
I swear
Wait
I've
till
never
your
slept
moment
better.
to come in.
Well, hello there, sir. What can I do you for? Not that I really need to ask. Ah, there's always demand for weapons, particularly near the border, where quarrels occur every other day. Always a pleasure. Well met, sir. How's the day treating you then?
Interested in my wares?
Somehow my feet
I've got to
always
focus.
carry me.
Shift's only just begun.
Pray, sir, seek out the Jadeite. As for where to look, you could try asking a bandit or someone who's apprised of illicit dealings.
Welcome, sir. If you think me a liar, then but aught I can help with. Hope to see you again.
The Jadeite orb is safely in hand.
Well, then, son, how might I be of service? Got work needs doing.
So, how goes it? Did you manage to retrieve the Jadeite orb? Very well. Pray continue your search. May it bear fruit anon.
I'll do as I please. Let them try and
Well
stop
met, son. How might I be of service?
Need anything?
An ox cart ought to make our journey easier.
Would allow us to save our strength, assuming we are not attacked, that is. There, Master! Saurians! Fire's fury shan't be of aid against this foe. I shan't let them harm you. Be able to move this boulder with our combined might.
Shall we set it rolling?
Yes, Master. I shall hasten to your aid.
I know precisely when a curative is needed, Master. You'll never fall in battle so long as I'm around. I'll put this to use.
Do I disappoint you, Master? That looks promising. Any ideas as to how we might reach it?
I knew that I could count upon your strength, Arisen.
This food's gone rotten. I'd best dispose of it and free up some space in my pack.
Unless I am mistaken, cavern lies yonder.
Shall we mark it for later, or explore it at once? This looks as if 'twould fetch a hefty sum. Tis our first time in this place. We would do well to be wary.
Keep stout of heart and clear of mind.
Isn't commonly rare, this. I look forward to informing my own master of its finding when I return beyond the rift. Rattler's master!
Holy power will do little to harm this foe. I'll collect that. You needn't trouble yourself.
The walls are too close for comfort here. Should we encounter trouble, we would be at a disadvantage. Let us proceed with caution. Eyes peeled, ears pricked.
Of equipment-enhancing materials to me, Master. I shall sniff them out and mark them on your map. A ballista. These have quite a long range.
This could grant us an edge in battle, if we use it well. We are none of us alike in vocation.
One should think we'll be able to counter whatever comes our way.
Let us utilize our individual strengths wherever possible.
I'd be of assistance.
I shall not fail you. There, Master! A drake! Battle is best avoided here. Foremost priority is down our triumph. There is no cause for reckless action. We need only be consistent. Only attacks will serve as purpose. Then we know what must needs be done. Best bet it seems we have enraged our foes. Might we not use their rage to our advantage?
By your leave.
Tis dark enough to warrant the use of your lantern, Master.
No one can defend themselves when grappled like this.
Be avoided, I take it.
Let us defer to your judgment.
Indeed, you are correct.
Let me get that. This is generally used as a material. I'm sure we'll find a purpose for it in due time.
Would this... Such tranquility could last.
Right you are.
It has a resistance to ice.
Every tool and tactic at our disposal. Now. I happen to understand Elvish, Master. I expect you'll find my talents useful should we encounter another speaker. The Jadeite orb is safely in hand. I'll carefully conserve my strength and endeavor to survive every battle by way of sound strategy and defensive tactics. 'Tis important we stock up when we can. After all, we're not like to stumble across what we need so far afield.
You can count on me to fly to your aid in your hour of need, Master. Knowing when to use curatives is my specialty. The Jadeite orb is safely in hand. I have nothing further to add. Camp is the perfect place for swapping tales of our experiences.
How might I serve you, Arisen? The Jadeite orb is safely... Is there aught this pawn might do for you? Good evening, Arisen. I trust we've all inspected our equipment. Come. We've much to be getting on with.
Feeling rested, I trust? I'd wager there's aught to be found here.
We ought to take a closer look. Master, a heavy pack will only slow you down. You ought to take stock of your belongings. Lessening our load will help to keep us light on our feet. We cannot break it from this side. I understand.
'Tis rather high.
It might be beyond our reach.
'Tis too great a task to be tackled alone. But I've no doubt we can see it done if we combine our strength. Might I be of assistance?
Ah, now here's a surprise.
Our collection grows. Interesting. I shall have to inform my own master of this.
Look there. I espy another statue.
I can foresee no reason not to go see it up close. I cannot fathom your intent.
An impressive view. We can infer much of the lay of the land from here. We are alone here, methinks. Perhaps we might stop a moment and find our bearings.
Right you are.
If our destination is a distant one, travel by ox cart might be worth considering.
Walking everywhere is certainly tiring.
By your command. And I shall strike them down. A wise one.
You dare incite my wrath?
That went well!
Ice attacks work wonders against their ilk. Cave. Shall we proceed into the depths?
Proceeding ill-prepared invites an early grave.
Understood.
Good evening, I'm Jeff. For more on Pope Leo XIV and what he means for both the church and for the world's 1.4 billion.
Turning to the day's other headlines, tensions in South Asia are running high tonight after India and Pakistan each accused the other of firing at their military sites.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio called leaders in both countries and pushed for what he called immediate de-escalation and direct dialogue. But tonight there is heavy shelling on both sides of the disputed border. Our Nick Schifrin has more.
In the fog of war tonight, there are blackout air raid sirens, Indian air defense firing into the Kashmiri night sky, and long lines of people in Indian-administered Kashmir fleeing out of fear. Today, India and Pakistan traded volleys and accusations. First, India accused Pakistan of a major attack.
Pakistan attempted to engage a number of military targets in northern and western India using drones and missiles.
But Pakistan insists it did not fire any missiles or drones.
It is such a fantastic and cooked up story.
But India and Pakistan did acknowledge Indian drone attacks across Pakistan against air defense systems in Lahore, near India's border, Rawalpindi, where Pakistan's military is headquartered, and Karachi, Pakistan's largest city, where an Indian drone crashed into the home of Faizan Ali.
It hit my house and broke my rooftop. Everything became dark below. Everything is broken. There was dust everywhere.
The nuclear-armed neighbors have fought 4 major wars, 3 over the disputed territory of Kashmir, where in April in Pahalgam, gunmen killed more than 24 mostly Hindu tourists. India blamed Pakistan. And overnight on Tuesday, launched its most widespread aerial attack on Pakistan in half a century. Pakistan once again today vowed to respond.
When Pakistan will strike,
you and I don't need Indian media to tell us.
The whole world will come to know. Its reverberations will be felt everywhere.
To which Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar today threatened escalation.
If there are military attacks on us, there should be no doubt that it will be met with a very, very firm response.
But already, both sides are shelling across the de facto Kashmir border. In Pakistan-controlled Kashmir, authorities say at least 12 have died. In Indian-administered Kashmir, villagers say at least 15 have been killed.
It is a terrible loss. We appeal to the government that there should be a ceasefire as soon as possible.
Neither side wants war, but tonight there's still fear of escalation, and the mood in cities near the border is darkening. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
Back here at home, the Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to allow it to remove deportation protections for hundreds of thousands of migrants. They want the justices to block a district court order that upheld temporary legal status. The order relates to more than 500,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Those protections were granted by a Biden-era policy that allowed people to fly to the U.S. if they had a financial sponsor and passed security checks. In their filing, Justice Department lawyers argued that the lower court, quote, nullified one of the administration's most consequential immigration policy decisions. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says his agency is reviewing the visa status of protesters who clashed with security guards at Columbia University. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators chanted and hung flags at the school's main library as students were studying for finals. Police say at least 80 people were taken into custody. Colombia's acting president called the protest utterly unacceptable, adding that she is, quote, deeply disturbed that at a moment when our international community feels particularly vulnerable, a small group of students would choose to make our institution a target. President Trump is pulling his pick to be the top federal prosecutor for the nation's capital after it became clear he did not have the votes among Republican senators. Ed Martin Jr. has been acting U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia since Trump's first week back in office in January. A leading figure in Trump's Stop the Steal movement following the 2020 election, Martin represented several January 6 defendants in court. He also stirred controversy by firing and demoting a number of prosecutors who worked on politically sensitive cases. The Trump administration is replacing the acting head of FEMA. Cameron Hamilton was removed from his post just a day after making the case for the agency's relevance before a congressional committee. President Trump has floated the idea of getting rid of FEMA altogether. Hamilton's dismissal comes less than a month before the start of hurricane season. Also today, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says it will no longer track the cost of major natural disasters. Those are weather events that cause at least $1 billion in damage. Scientists say such disasters are becoming more frequent due to climate change. Ukraine and Russia are accusing each other of violating a 3-day ceasefire called by Russian President Vladimir Putin to mark the nation's Victory Day holiday. A Ukrainian official says Russia violated its own truce more than 700 times starting at midnight last night. In the meantime, Putin welcomed Chinese leader Xi Jinping to the Kremlin today. He's referred to Xi as the main guest for tomorrow's military parade, marking 80 years since victory over Nazi Germany. In Kyiv, that anniversary was marked as a somber day of remembrance. President Volodymyr Zelensky highlighted the difference between Ukraine's observances and the show of force that's expected in Moscow tomorrow.
Буде парад цинізму. Інакше
it will be a parade of cynicism, a parade of bile and lies. As if it were Putin personally who defeated Nazism. Thank God Ukraine has not forgotten that 80 years ago, dozens of allied states fought against Nazism, and more than 8 million Ukrainians sadly died in that struggle.
Elsewhere, the anniversary of VE Day was marked across Europe. German leaders laid wreaths in Berlin, where this year's anniversary was marked as a one-off public holiday. President Frank-Walter Steinmeier then warned Parliament that Russia's invasion of Ukraine and America turning its back on alliances are defining concerns for this century. In France, President Emmanuel Macron led a military parade down the Champs-Élysées before lighting the flame at the tomb of the unknown soldier. And in London's Westminster Abbey, King Charles and Britain's royal family attended a service of thanksgiving where they too remembered the lives lost in the war. On Wall Street today, stocks rallied amid